Nation! Welcome to another episode of the Easy Cage Show. I am Darth Easy,
And I'm Rainy Cage.
and this is episode 161 of the Easy Cage Show. Guys, hope you're having a very good Sunday. This is a doubleheader episode for the Easy Cage Show. Me and Rainy Cage just got done talking about Cowboy Bebop, the first season, and now we're continuing the TV trend going and talking about Survivor season 41 because add the one, add a six, add another one. This is episode 161. So we're here to talk about the latest season of Survivor. We're huge Survivor fans. It's really the only reality show that I really care for because Big Brother, not the biggest fan of it anymore. I'll be perfectly honest. And Survivor, it was good to see Survivor back on the TV screen. And so we're going to talk all things about the entire season of Survivor, what we liked, what we didn't like, what Brady really doesn't like, and I'll tell you what I really liked about it. And also, before the episode's over with, I will tell you where I rank Survivor 41 out of the 41 seasons of Survivor. So I'll save that for the very end of the episode. So
Ether.
let's get right into talk about Survivor season 41. So Randy Cage, start us off.
Yes. Oh, I don't even know where to begin, man. Survivor 41. I missed it. We went a whole COVID year without Survivor, and I was excited to come back. And even though we were getting like a shorter season, and we were going to add all these new twists, and we were going to have a even more racially diverse cast, I was still excited because I was missing me some Survivor. And like Probe said at the beginning, he was like, we change stuff all the time and people hate it, and then they were like, don't ever take it away again. He I think he mentioned like the idols. When they first did the idols, everybody hated it. When they first did the tribe swap, everybody hated it. So I think this was the beginning of, we're going to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and we're going to see what people like and what people hate, and change up Survivor a little bit. Then plus, I really think the shortening of the season was more COVID related than it was we're trying to make it a faster pace, even though that's what they say.
Well, I mean, the game got ramped up more just because of it's a shorter season of Survivor, so we had to pump in more tribal councils quicker than what we did. I think we merged at day 11, which we usually don't merge until like day 16 or day 17 of Survivor. We would have probably seen a tribe mix up.
How many days were they out there total?
26.
Yeah, so they cut 13 days.
Right, and plus they had 14 days of quarantine. So because usually when they get there, they'll spend a day isolated from each other, and then they'll go straight into the season. So this time they have to be 14 days quarantine, make sure no one showed any symptoms, and then they can move into a Survivor season. So that's why they shortened the days. I guess they just didn't want them out there really for 2 months, basically. And so I really enjoyed this season. I really like the up the pace, up tempo Survivor season. It was kind of like a Patrick Mahomes kind of Survivor season where we're just going in straight, throwing the ball, saving as much time as possible. We're not running it. It was it really got players to actually play the game faster than what you would on a regular 39-day season. And I've been listening to interviews and like a thing with like Erica when she was talking about how they were talking about getting rid of Ricard, or it was with Deshaun. Deshaun was talking about getting rid of whenever he did his truth bomb about Erica and Heather. He said he probably wouldn't have made that decision, but since the game was so up tempo and he didn't have days to process information, he just had to go in and run with it. So that definitely changed how players played this season of Survivor. And it's kind of like in Big Brother when they do those stupid hour eviction where they have to rush it. I like strategy when it's fleshed out over days at a time, and we're not just going in like, yep, it's a dot. throw the ball, hope nothing bad happens. And I do like a 39-day season better than a 26-day season, but I would rather see a 26-day season and then just not see Survivor at all. So that's kind of where I fall in on the quicker days on Survivor.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, for us, it doesn't affect much as the viewer because they would edit down those 39 days to fit the same amount of episodes anyways. So it just changes the game a little bit. And I'm with you. I think I prefer the more days, but if this is the only way we get Survivor,
and I don't really like them saying this is the hardest season Survivor ever.
I don't either.
It's not the hardest season Survivor. No. It barely rained on them until the end. Yeah. So which means the next group coming in, it's probably gonna rain a lot on them. So
and they're like, we didn't get any food. I want to throw you guys in Africa or Australia. And see if you think
I will say in Australia, in Africa, they had canned goods. They had all this. They did have supplies. I would go more off of the Survivor Marquesas model because in Survivor Marquesas, they didn't give them any supplies at all. They gave them the basic essentials, and they had to go out and scavenge their food. And then they also had to deal with the bugs and the weather as well. And players like passing out and getting really hurt in Marquesas, or even like Survivor Cal Wrong whenever they were digging up the sand pile to try to get the Beast Mode Cowboy almost nearly died playing that challenge. I mean, so is this the hardest season? I think it's harder just because it was quicker. I didn't like the whole idea of, hey, we're starting over at Final Five. It's just like, that's a little goofy. We're past the survival part. Let's get more survival for me.
This show hasn't really been about surviving the elements,
but that's what they were trying to make it at the end. And I was just like, the twist. I didn't care though. So let's talk about the twists.
Yeah, let's talk.
So first off, we're going to talk about the Shot in the Dark. Shot in the Dark was played once. Don't need to see it. I don't ever need to see it again because the whole point, if that girl had she had voted out at least that episode, at least goes home before they merge.
I'm still confused about it. So you play the Shot in the Dark, you lose your vote.
Yes,
but then
you get a 1-6 shot at having a hidden immunity idol.
Oh, it's 1-6 no matter what. I thought they were basing it off of how many people were left or something. That's what
it was 1-6 no matter what.
1-6. See, the odds are too. It's not worth it. There's just no point in playing it.
Well, the whole point of the Shot in the Dark though is if basically you're going home. You have no shot. Absolutely no shot. And you're like, I'm going to take this 13.3% chance of staying in the game. And that's literally, so how do you beat the Shot in the Dark? It's the same way how you beat an immunity idol. It's the same way how you beat any advantage in Survivor. Blindside. That's how you beat these twists. And so I'm hoping, I'm assuming Shot in the Dark is going to come back. And it would have been awesome. And that girl's like, I got it. And then she's like safe. And you're like, okay. Then we would have seen Shot in the Dark here to stay. But really, like the players were like, I can play my Shot in the Dark. But if I do that, if that person doesn't vote a certain way, I'm going home no matter what. If I don't get the Shot in the Dark.
Doesn't it open it up to production tampering? Like, couldn't production, because they don't ever show you the randomizer or whatever. Couldn't production step in and be like, oh, we love this character. We don't want them to leave. So we're going to give them the Shot in the Dark, basically, where, I don't know. I think it opens it up to production messing with things, which I don't like. I like my Survivor to be as real as humanly possible. And it opens it up for them to be like, oh, we really don't want Jarius or these really cool characters that left early. So because there has been rumors that they talk to these people and try and coerce them to do things. So
I imagine that happens, especially in like Big Brother or something. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if it happens as much anymore.
I like to hope not.
Because one of my favorite characters at the beginning of the season was the lawyer character that got taken out in the second episode. I was like, oh, he's gonna be here a while, and then he got put out in the second episode. I was like, oh, you never know. So I kind of like Survivor lets kind of the game go, no matter what happens, even if it really tanks the season. Sometimes that ruins the season, like in Island of the Idols when you had Dan who was touching everybody. And okay, so the other
All
twist,
right. What about that? So you think Shadow of the Dark's gonna be back next season?
I think it will definitely be back season 42. I think it's going to be kind of like Redemption Island was the first two times we saw it, because they really didn't have a reception of how the maybe
Yeah.
it won't be back. Hopefully it
Yeah.
says it. I know we know the Beware, which I guess that gets us into a good point to go into our next twist, the Beware twist. So the Beware was if you don't if you open this up, you have to follow it through, and you lose your vote until this everything happens. I'm not the biggest fan of the vocal idol because it kind of defeats the purpose of having an immunity idol, because it's no longer a hidden immunity idol. It's just a immunity idol where
Yeah.
everybody knows where the idols were. But in the other point of view, I thought this season really made idols really refreshing, where you knew where the idols were, so you had to kind of play around them and try. You had to blindside them, even though you're like, okay, they could take me out at any seconds. So I kind of thought the idols had a little more of a fun little twist this season.
Yeah. It kind of has. It's like a double-edged sword because, like I said, it's not hidden, so people know you have it. But then sometimes people kind of use it as a shield, and the players don't. You know, they don't do anything because they have it for the fear that they'll use it or use it for somebody else. But then it has this extra layer where as you have it, that you can really like have crazy moves like we got. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not. If I like the whole saying the slogan and announcing to everybody, "Hey, I have an idol," which these 2 seasons they're not going to know. Like even next season when they do it, maybe they won't figure it out. Maybe this next season they'll play it a little more casually. It won't tell everybody, "Hey, I got to say this saying," and then once you do that, then everybody knows that. If they just kind of nonchalant been like, "Oh, I'm just crazy. I'm saying these weird phrases for whatever reason or whatever," then no one would have to know. I do hate when people tell everybody about everything they have. It drives me crazy because I'm like,
Mhm.
why are you doing this? Why are you telling people that you have an idol? Why are you telling people that you have?
So now moving on to the next
Yeah.
power, which is the knowledge is power twist. And really, I think the only reason Shan told, I forget what that girl's name was, about when she
The
said
older lady,
yeah, the older lady,
Tiffany.
uh yeah, Tiffany. I think the only reason Shan told her, she was hungry.
Yeah.
Her mind wasn't thinking right. If this was a regular 39 day and they had first feast, and I don't think that happens in a regular Survivor season. So I think that has a lot to take. So on the 26th day quicker, we're not feeding these people at all. Then it's like, don't touch the bacon.
Well, that was probably my least favorite thing is that knowledge is power because I think it is so dumb to force a player to not lie, to tell the truth.
I think the
That
idea of it is cool because that's your fault. If you tell people you have the hidden immunity idol and you somehow get the knowledge of power, it's like, oh, I know this person has the hidden immunity idol. I'm about to pin them. I'm about to pin their butt to the table, basically, and that's why it's called a hidden immunity idol. That's why you don't do it.
yeah.
That's why you don't tell people. Now the theater of it all. Whenever this is about the only time I'm probably going to be praising Sanders' gameplay this entire episode, when he pulls the little rope out and sees a little fake, and when she's like, "Sander, do you have a hidden immunity idol?" No, but you can have this fake I made. Like, it was a great move, and then I love how the production of the season where it flashes back to how they're like, yeah, here's the kid in the aisle. You hold on to it because no one will expect you to have it. So I thought that was pretty cool of during the episode of the
Yeah,
show.
I like when they did stuff like that this season where we got like the behind the scenes looks at stuff and the cutbacks and
Mm-hmm.
that was all cool stuff. And that moment was probably the best moment. That was my favorite episode of the show, I think, was when they do that whole thing. But yeah, I guess that's all the advantages, right?
No,
All
the
the
last advantage was the island, which is where the island
oh,
where
the
you can
flip
get
thing.
the wheel island, basically, where
That was
you
kind
can
of
risk
pretty
your
bad
vote
too.
or not risk your vote. And I
Oh,
have to say, I like seeing more extra votes in the game, because extra votes are not going to break the game like throwing in an idol that's only good for like 2 or 3 tribal councils. Like
yeah.
to see someone have like see like 3 or 4 extra votes out there, it's not really going to like it's not going to blow the game up as much as that hidden immunity idol was. It's like, okay, we have 1 extra vote to play with. How are we going to work this out into our strategy?
There was
So
something they need to do a better job though of when they're using the extra vote. I know they hide when players use it because it's confusing sometimes. Like they used it in the when we got 2 people gone, but some people didn't even realize that they used it because they, I don't know, they need to put something on the screen that says, hey, this is what's his name's extra vote, because it's confusing sometimes because you don't even know sometimes if they're using the extra vote because they're keeping it so damn secretive.
Well, in a tribal council, like when Deshaun used his extra vote, since he hadn't been to tribal council since the first, he did not go to a tribal council. He won that extra vote in like the second episode. He got the
Yeah.
extra vote at that tribal council, and he said, "I'm gonna go ahead and play it." And so he uses both extra votes, and you find that out at the end, and that's how Tiffany, or not Tiffany, forget what the one girl's name who gets who played the shot in the dark.
Yeah. Who was that? It was that younger girl. I got everybody's cast here. Sydney.
Sydney.
Yeah.
So that really got Sydney sent home, even more so than anything.
Yeah. Oh, you're forgetting about one more twist or advantage. I don't know what you would call it. Where
the Wheel of Time.
Erica went.
The Wheel of Time.
Is that what it was called?
Where I guess. The hourglass of time, the Wheel of Time. Yeah. We're going back in time.
That was also stupid.
Yeah, Erica got that DeLorean, went back in time, and Danny's like, "This isn't fair."
Yeah,
this isn't fair. Which I feel for him.
Yeah,
it is bullcrap. I mean, I will agree with him on that point of view.
It really changed the game completely. To be honest with you.
Yeah, because if that hadn't happened, I think Erica goes home pre-merge and she won the game. So it blew the game up. So I mean, it was a stupid twist on a point of view. It was not the greatest twist ever. So I think it would have been simpler if whoever lost the challenge goes to tribal council. The one extra person, they don't go to tribal council either, just because they didn't get a chance to fight for safety or not fight for safety. So I think that would have been a better way to do it. And I didn't like that episode just because it was a cliffhanger episode. It would have been so much better if that was a 2-hour Survivor merge episode. But we had to make sure we show Tough as Nails on CBS right after the airing of Survivor. So no one cares about Tough as Nails. No one cares. They were like, Survivor, Tough as Nails will be taking a week break for the 2-hour episode of Survivor this upcoming week. So that was a big complaint of that episode. But then that next episode, you're like, oh, that was awesome. And if you had combined that episode with the first episode, what's great. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done talking about the twists. I think we talked about all of them. Now let's talk about some of the characters this season.
All right.
I think this is the best cast since David versus Goliath.
It's a good cast.
And it's such a good cast. I mean, from they had younger cast members, they had older cast members, they had a very ethnically diverse cast. Not just in whites and blacks. You had Erica, I'm pretty sure the first Filipino Canadian, one of the first few Canadians to play Survivor. I think there was one played in season 39, but I believe she's like the second one. You have some other different diverse.
He was like what, Pakistani or something, or Indian.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He also had then you obviously we had we had the African American cast members. Then we had
Jeannie, she was
yeah,
Asian.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very diverse cast, and more importantly than just casting diversity for diversity's sake, is everybody was just great. I loved everybody pretty much. I mean,
Everyone was a great character, and
yeah,
I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it, but I liked seeing the backstories of characters,
I
and
think
I really thought it enhanced some of the stories for the episodes. Like the thing about Sander, about him, he's like, I didn't think I was ever going to be in this situation. I was that fat kid who never thought I would even have a shot at Survivor. I really enjoyed that stuff, and this is coming from somebody who was not the biggest Sander fan, and I really like that. The stuff about Deshaun, the stuff about Danny. I mean, Danny and his dad, and how he grew as a person, and he didn't realize he had that pain his entire life, and he finally was able to let that go. I thought that was a very emotional jerker episode for me at least.
just hearing you talk about it makes me want to vomit. I mean,
Uh,
this is not what this show is about. This is not about Danny's father relationship. It just it feels forced. Specifically, Danny. Okay, when we get his story, and then his crying moment, and then his breakdown in tribal, it all seems fake. It seems like production is going out, interviewing his ass, saying, "Tell us a heartfelt backstory about your life and why you are the way you are." I just don't need that. I don't care. It has nothing to do with the game of Survivor, and it's very hard to watch. And you can go down every one of these damn characters, and if I didn't have a single fucking backstory for any of them, I wouldn't care. It has nothing to do with anything. It's getting old, and that is my number one complaint about this. And then I just want to throw this in here as the last thing, because I didn't know this till after I did my whole spiel on Twitter. But somebody told me on Twitter, Ricard in an interview said he deliberately told Xander that about his stupid ass second kid that was magically being born that he hadn't mentioned the entire game, to try and to sway him to use the idol on him. Like it's like goes all the way back to what's his name, Evil and his
Johnny
grandma.
Fairplay.
Yeah, Donnie, it's just so dirty and so pointless, and it's so stupid. I hate it. I hate what's his name, how he won all those years ago when he just cried and told the story about his grandma or whatever.
He didn't win.
Huh? I thought he did win.
Sandra won that season, man.
Sandra.
Pearl Islands.
No, I'm talking about
oh, you're talking about Adam Klein.
Yes, I hate Adam. Yes. He
Oh my
cried
God.
every episode. It was just ridiculous. It's too much. And then you throw all the woke stuff on top of it, where it's just like Ricard, for instance. It's like he couldn't come up with, he had 10 different reasons why he should win. I mean, it was just fucking ridiculous. Oh, I have a husband, so I'm gay. Okay, cool. Oh, my husband's a transsexual. Okay. Oh, I got 2 kids and I had to leave him. Okay. Oh, I'm hard of hearing. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, man. I mean, we don't need this. It's just that's one of the reasons I didn't like him. Plus, his attitude. He was the one character I didn't like. But then I will admit he was playing good Survivor towards the end of the season. But how much would I like that better if I didn't have his 800 backstories about why he should win? And then he was so butthurt too. He was probably the most bitter person on the jury. It was just like, even Probes noticed it, because he was like, "You act like you're still mad because you're not up here in the final 3." And he's like, "Yeah, I am." It's just like, you are not the greatest player to ever play the game. And
okay.
Anyway,
okay.
my rant is over.
On the other end of the spectrum, I enjoyed the stories. I liked how production was able to edit these episodes. Like when Ricard said, "I'm hard of hearing. Sometimes I can't hear the entire thing," and how the episode, it was brilliant the way they did it. But like then you could barely hear the noise going on in the show, and I was like, "That's just good storytelling."
We've had a deaf character on the show before, and it
We
was
have.
brought up less than, we didn't spend a 15 minutes on it with this guy.
You don't remember that season that well, dude.
I don't know, man. it's too much. And it was one thing when we would have like one character in the show who was like, oh, like the deaf character. That was a long time ago, but you know, when every character has 16 different reasons, it's just ridiculous. That's why when you get to somebody like Danny, the NFL player, and he's talking about his dad, at that point in time, we had already heard 40 different stories from all the other cast members. I was like, what in the hell is this? Like, it drives me insane. And it's not what Survivor is. Like, we don't need it. I don't know anything about Russell Hanson's background. He's played the game, what, 4 times? I never learned a single damn thing about him in his past or anything that has to do with him. And he's still one of the greatest Survivor players of all time. I don't
No,
need
he's not.
backstory.
Not really. Really
Same
terrible
with,
person. Really.
okay, if you don't want to go with him, go with Boston Rob.
I know a lot about Boston Rob. They shared his wedding on TV. You're choosing the
We
wrong
don't
people.
tell him about him in the show while he's playing. We don't need to know
All
about.
right, so are you done ranting? Can we
I
get back
guess
to?
I'm
Because
done.
on my side, I like the story, and I'm gonna leave it there because I've talked about it enough, and you've talked about it way more enough. Now, I want to talk about some like the storylines the show actually did do that was in the Survivor game. Like, first off, let's talk about one of the coolest parts of the pre-merge was when Shan, who convinces JD to give up his extra votes, and then they sent him out. What an awesome move was that?
It was a good move, and I really liked it. And I liked her song. I love Shan.
Yeah, Shan is, I think, guaranteed a shot at a Survivor Second Chances too. I think she literally cemented her legacy there, and so we've never seen that before, and it was funny in the episode because JD's like, I don't want to go down in Survivor history as an idiot, like Eric who giving up his immunity necklace, and he gives up his extra vote. What you doing, man?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I think on him, he was just young, and I liked him, but he was young, and Shan's just good. I mean, she's very convincing, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these cast members don't make a comeback in a future.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. I want to get through some of the we've talked a lot already. So Dan, I like the storyline of the Ricard and Shan's epic downfall in Survivor, where you had that storyline. They set it up brilliantly all season long, where Ricard and Shan, like they're a twosome. They never told each other they're going to the finals. They said you're not number one. They never said that. They worked really well together. And the show kind of eases the story along. How Shan barks at Ricard. How Shan gives Ricard, like, you're going home if you don't win this next challenge. And Ricard's like, I gotta take her out. If I don't take her out, the Black Alliance, these four, they're gonna win. They're gonna dominate the game, and it changed the entire flow of the game. When Shan goes home, holy crap, what a move that was. I mean, that's good Survivor right there. And it's like, well, I guess a female's definitely not. I guess the drought continues on seeing a female win Survivor again, because I like during the pre-merge, I was like, I think a woman's going to win this season of Survivor. And then after Shan went home, I was like, I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yeah, so no, I like that moment too, because we saw several scenes where they were not getting along and argued a lot, but then they would always come back to each other and be like, all right, this is what we need to do. I think Shan was getting a little more aggressive than Ricard was when
it reminded me of the Wendell and Dominic relationship in Survivor Ghost Island, where Wendell and Dominic basically said, like, it's like, listen, if we go after each other, none of us will have a chance of winning. So we have to go after each other towards the end of the game. And instead, Ricard said, I'm taking her. This is basically how that storyline happens in Ghost Island, if Winder or Dominic had turned each other before that moment in the game. So I really like the story, and I thought the production team on Survivor this season did a really good job of telling that story of the downfall of both Ricard and Shan. Okay, so now we're getting towards the end of the game. You had the Black Alliance. You had basically they all go out pretty much one after another. Liana gets taken out at 7. We forgot one twist. The do or die twist.
The do or die twist. Remind me what that is.
That's whenever Deshaun had to pick a box, and if it said skull, you go home. Out. You did. I never want to see it again. Because that's not Survivor to me. Because like I'm gonna compare it to drawing rocks in Survivor. It's better than it's not as drawing rocks. You only draw rocks when you literally cannot make your mind up. And it's like we cannot all compromise and take somebody out. So we're letting fate decide. This one. You decide I'm going to play the challenge. I'm the first one out. Oh, I pick a rock. I pick a box. Oh, I'm going home. And that's the thing with that the stupid do or die twist. And it really screwed out Liana in this in that episode because if that wasn't a thing that happened, Deshaun goes out at 7.
Yeah, but I don't know. Liana's game was such a mess. I think Deshaun and Liana's game were very similar in that it was just messy, just a messy game. Deshaun really imploded at the end there, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of that twist either. It was kind of too much.
All right, so let's get towards the end of the game, the final episode. We had one of the best fire making challenges, and I hate the Final Four fire making challenge.
I know
I'm on record, and it was great. Like I don't think
it's never going away. I think that's here to stay.
I know, and it's one of those things I wish I would go away because I think that it would have been just as exciting to watch them 4 trying to figure out. It's like okay, should we take out Erica now at Final 4, or should we try to keep? Or should we take out someone like Deshaun? Or when Erica's like, let's take out Heather because she's going to take away some of my capital to make it to the final 3. So I think that on instances like that, I think it would be more exciting to have a vote out instead of a fire making challenge.
I think sometimes those votes have been. That's why they did it. Sometimes it's just not that exciting.
But they're helping players out like a Malcolm who makes it to the final 4, or somebody kind of like that. Or like they'll have a second shot. But someone like a Ben who won that season of Survivor because he was able to make fire, and they kind of sprung that twist on him at the last second was really stupid.
Yeah. Now they know, so it's a little more understandable. They know what they're getting into. It was pretty impressive though. Deshaun, like
I was like, he's dead. He's done.
Yeah, and come back and wins it at the end.
Yeah, it's like he just went straight to the thing, and it was literally like 3 seconds.
I want to say it didn't matter because Deshaun or what's her name, neither of them would have won. Heather, Deshaun.
Now, do you think though that Heather being in the finals with Erica though would have taken the story away from Erica in the final tribal council though, because they played very similar games. They were both right next to each other.
I don't know. I know that's what Xander thought, but I don't know. I don't think Heather would have been able to articulate enough that I don't know.
Listen, we don't know a lot of what happened with Heather this season because we never saw her.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I still feel like Erica would have won. I don't know.
Okay, so let's get to the.
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would have mattered. I think Erica still would have won because nobody was going to vote for Heather. I just don't see it happening.
Well, she's a motherly figure, and people really loved her. So, I mean, I could definitely see somebody voting for her. Maybe somebody like a Deshaun voting for Heather. I could see that. Let's get to the final tribal council.
Mhm.
So I know you probably have some feelings about this,
I
and
do.
I have arguments what I'm comparing it to whenever you're done. So go ahead and start.
Xander was the clear front runner here, and I forget one of them said the whole reason they didn't vote for him because he wasn't a woman. It's shit like that is going to ruin the show. I mean, I get bitter juries, and I even said it in my little thing. I get it. Juries do weird things. They vote for weird people. Erica was a good player, not the worst winner ever. Fine, Erica wins, whatever. But to not get one single vote. Come on now. I mean, that smells like, oh, Xander's a white guy, so we're not voting for him. That's what that smells like to me. Maybe not, but that's what that smells like to me. I want to know who did we ever figure out who voted for Deshaun?
It was Danny.
Danny voted for Deshaun. Okay, see, that's I can understand that. I'm a weird. Why did Nasir? Because it seemed like Nasir was so for Xander and then didn't vote for him. I was like, what the fuck happened?
But
But
they had that Sander. But you have to realize Nasir and Erica had that relationship that they had built on Luvu.
that's true.
So, and they kind of looked after each other at a point, and also it could have also been a respect move because Erica was one of the people that said, "Let's take out Nasir."
Now let
So
me hear your reasons why. I'm not even gonna say why Xander didn't deserve to win, but why he didn't deserve one vote.
I don't think Sander deserved the win at all because what did Sander really do? Sander
What?
had one move, and that was oh yeah, you can have this fake kid in a immunity idol. And then the
That
rest
was
of
the
it,
coolest move of the season.
he literally had to be told by Ricard, don't play your idol. And then he said, yeah, that was all my I just did not see Sander making any strategic moves, really. He just basically had balls of steel. He literally did not play that idol, and he held on to that idol. We're at the point where the tries were. Reason why Sander is in the final three is because of that Black Alliance fell apart. It blew up. They were not able to stay together, and that's the reason why Sander is in the final three. He got lucky. Erica, on the other hand, played a very. She was somebody who, if she had lost, they had lost. If her tribe had lost in the pre-merge, she goes home. If that twist didn't happen and she got sent to tribal council, she goes home. So her name was being voiced every week by players like Shan and Danny and Deshaun said she's a big threat. We need to take her out. And we really didn't. The show did a really poor job at showing us on why Erica was a threat. But in that episode, when they were talk about taking out Shan, Erica's the one that says, "Let's split the votes between Lilana and Shan. That way, we're all covered." And she was mostly looking after her own bug because if Shan plays that idol, Erica's the one that goes home, and Danny's the one that says it. He says, I think she's proven why we've been targeting her this entire season." And she wins those two immunity challenges. She finds that stupid advantage thing that we forgot to talk about, and she does a really good job at the final jury and able to communicate with every person and how she had the relationship with Ricard. And for me, Sander didn't play the game that deserved to win the game. He was good at the challenges. He was good at finding the immunity idols. Yes, but this just
All parts
reminds
of the
me.
game.
This
And
reminds me
he had a good
of
social game.
he did it though.
He did.
Danny and
All those
Deshaun.
people
Danny and
liked him.
Deshaun. Nobody. They every time they talked to Sander, they were just kind of iffy about him. And Tiffany didn't care for. Remember at the beginning of the season, he's like, "F that guy," blah blah blah. Yeah, we're all gonna take him out, but they're like, we have to keep him because he's good. He's just kind of a bumbling idiot the first towards of the season. I was comparing him to a player like Fabio, who's one of the worst winners of Survivor history. But I will say he's closer more toward a Malcolm type. He has a strategy. I don't think he was able to get the social game really that great. And this season reminds me of a season that with Survivor Korong, when we had Aubrey lose to somebody like a Michelle Fitzgerald, someone who played a very sneaky social game, had the strategy there, but Aubrey just could not beat her in the end. And after we seen Michelle in a Winners at War, I think Michelle proved to us last time she played why she deserved to win that season. And I think it's the same this season with Erica. I think Erica played a very under the radar game, and I think she's a worthy winner to win Survivor 41.
I do too. I'm a little upset Xander didn't get one single vote, and I hope it's not a trend that continues, because while you make some good points, I think when I forget who asked him, why did you take Erica and not Heather? Heather's a goat, basically, is what they were all pretty much saying. And he explains his reason why he doesn't think Heather's a goat. I mean, to me, he's a smart player. I mean, he gave a very good reason why he didn't take her. And maybe he read the jury wrong, but
he did.
I feel like he had a good social game. He got to know all these players. That's what he said. I think in post interviews that he felt like the reason he didn't get any votes was because of his kind of demeanor, his laid back, and his want to get to know everybody and everything. But
the one question though, when he was asked, what's the time you use social awareness, and he was just like, and he was silent for like 2 minutes, basically, maybe longer, in the actual original thing, and that kind of showed to me, like, I was like, he was just kind of winging it the entire game.
He also had balls, like you said. He was good in challenges. He made that amazing move, the best episode of the season. But I will say that move was not all him. I mean, he had assistance from people. So I'm not saying he's the greatest player to ever play the game, but he was the clear front runner and didn't get a single vote. That's
I don't think for me, I don't think he deserved to win. I was rooting for Deshaun before but then like the final 6, if I like during the merge, I was like, Deshaun's one of my favorites, and his game his game blew up at a certain point. So he couldn't get those what he needed to win in order to win the game.
Was really a kamikaze bomb that did absolutely nothing.
And I think he thought he was going home for sure. Yeah. I thought he was So he was like, I'm burning this camp down to the ground before I go. Last thing, talk about players we would like to see come back for second chances, fans versus favorites, blood versus water.
You want to bring the blood versus water back, huh?
I would like to see all-star version of blood versus water back. I don't want to see the what they did last blood versus
new water. People.
I want to see players that we know and then see some of their family members. I think that was cool. So
it's crazy because I like all these characters. How many do I get to pick?
I don't know. We'll just go through. Like from the pre-merge, I think really the only person I want to see back would be like a JD, because he has that bumbling idiot moment. So now I kind of want to see. He was an idiot.
I thought he was pretty cool. Kind of old school player. He reminded me of Tark Choizan. Like I don't know. I could see a Brad making a comeback. But yeah, I like JD too. He was a good.
So now we go from.
What about David, the lawyer guy that looked like what's Sheldon or not Sheldon from Big Brother? Or actually, he was post merge, wasn't he? The guy that looked like what's his name from Big Bang Theory? His name was David Voce or whatever.
Oh no, he won't.
He was the neurosurgeon. Sorry, I said lawyer, didn't I?
He was the guy that was voted out second, right?
Yeah. I liked him too. I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him, but I don't think he had enough in there to make a second chance.
All right.
So from post merge, I can
Okay.
see an Erica come back. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
But, yeah.
I don't think she will just because of the winter thing.
Yeah.
I
Evie.
think who?
Evie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see. I didn't care for Evie that much.
I could see her coming back.
I can see
Her
her coming
game
back.
got messed up, and then it kind of all fell apart. But
I can see.
I
I
like
can
her.
see a Nasir come back
Yeah.
because he had that. It reminds me a lot of like a Ty, and
Yeah.
so has a very similar story. I think it'd be interesting to see him come back. I want
I
to
just
see
don't know if
Danny.
he has the what it takes to win the game because he's all about surviving the elements and being the cook and stuff. But I don't know if his social gameplay is ever gonna rock the world here.
No, probably not. But I
Yeah.
think it'd be cool to see him come back. And some you don't always need players that are going to win the game of Survivor. You just need people that are going to make good television for you. Like
Yeah.
seeing like someone like an Abby Marie come back during second chances. She's just there to burn the place down to the
I
ground
want
and
Abby
give us.
Marie to come back again.
I know. So I like to see Danny and Deshaun come back. I think they were great characters. I doubt
I
we were
really think
finally.
I thought Danny was great, but he had no gameplay. It would be pointless to bring him back.
I think Danny had the gameplay though. I just think it was just more subtle, and I think Deshaun did a lot of the talking. But I think they both came together on the strategies though.
I don't think
Um,
if I was to guess, neither of those will ever come back. But I could see it, but
I
I'd
see a
bet.
Deshaun, but I see a Deshaun coming back for sure.
I don't know. We'll see. What
Um,
else you got?
okay, so I think Shan is the
Shan, I think,
lock.
is a shoe in to come
I
back.
think Sander is a shoe
Yeah.
in to come back because I think Survivor's always looking for those 20-year-old superstar Survivor players
Yeah.
that are going to. I mean, he might be back 3 times in the 40s, 2 more times in the 40s. Liana, I can see her coming back.
Oh, man. She was I liked her little thing at the end where she was like kind of, admitted her failure. She was not a good player. She was every time she tried to do anything, it was awful. But at least she kind of learned from it, I guess, and learned that when
But
you're down,
one of the
keep
best
cleaning up.
one of the best Survivor winners we've seen, like a Sarah Lucina. When she played the first time in Cagayan, her game was all over the place, and then she gets voted out the first episode of the merge, comes back and plays one of the best games of all time. So
I
you never
liked her.
know.
She was one. Remember when we were talking about that first after watching the first episode? I was like, she was one of my favorites. I would have picked her in the draft, but woo, after that first couple episodes,
You got a good eye for talent.
Yeah. No, it's the opposite. If I pick them, they're going down in flames usually.
And then I know you don't like them, Ricard.
I can see Ricard coming out. I don't like him. He's one of my least favorite survivors in the last 10 years. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he played the game. I don't I don't like his 800 reasons why he should win Survivor. Like pick one, dude. We don't need 10. I didn't like the whole thing where he was like, I second. I actually don't like the word guys. That was stupid. Don't forget about that dumb moment of the season.
I don't think Shan is as good as she was though without Ricard, because Ricard was the one that came up with the strategies, and Shan's the one that executed them. So I don't think Shan is as good as she was without.
I can see Ricard coming back.
So yeah, last thing to talk about before we wrap this episode up in a little bow is a reunion show. What did we think of the live reunion show at Tribal Council?
I mean, it's fine. They've really been changing over the last 10 seasons or so. They've really radically changed it got shorter and shorter. It got to where he was barely interviewing people anymore. It's fine. I don't know.
I thought it was the best reunion show I have seen in years.
Really?
It was more about the players. It wasn't about, hey, let's go talk to John Cochran or Boston Rob in the
That's
audience.
true. Yeah, we don't need that.
And the only thing I really didn't like was them shoving pizza, and Probst's like,
Yeah.
oh, give me some of that pizza over there. I
Yeah.
want some of that.
And it's
So
cool that he said, "Hey, we do this every year. We just never film it." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Once again, that was something that they tried to play off like, "We're trying this. It's because of COVID." It's another thing that they did because of COVID. They didn't
yes,
want to bring everybody back to a big set,
they
stage.
didn't want to chance it and have to do everything on Zoom again.
Yeah, because that was awful.
It was just a, hey, let's finish it. So I like the way the way they did it. I liked it. I thought it was about the characters. It was about the gameplay. I thought it was a cool little
I think that's
moment.
how we'll do season 42.
Yeah, it's definitely how
Might
they'll
be
do
the
season
final
42.
season of Survivor. Because I want to say one more thing. Because I was wondering, I keep seeing the ratings and everything, and how they're down and all that. This show, crap, I had it pulled up here. Crap, now I got season 39. So season 41 had an average of about 6 million viewers, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So yeah, here it is. Season 41, the first episode, okay, when we got back, had 6.2 million viewers, which is down 2 million viewers from season 40. Okay. So right off the bat, we're 2 million viewers lower, which is a pretty significant drop. The final episode had 3.9 million viewers. Throughout the season, it gradually went down, and we're down to I don't know what this usually means, but I used to go on, especially when I watched a bunch of TV on network TV, and the ratings or whatever, usually if you were in like the 1 to 2 ratings, then your show would get renewed, but it wasn't that. I can remember like Superstore getting like a 1 to 2 rating, and so it was enough to get the show to get renewed, but usually not enough to have this big success. Whereas you get like 6, 7 ratings for like Big Bang Theory, which was like one of the most popular shows on TV. The last episode of season 41 was a 0.6 rating. It was so low. And that is just scary to me because while they've probably made a lot of changes to cut this budget down, I don't know how much Life Survivor has it if we're draining viewers like that. And I'm sure we're draining viewers for all kinds of different reasons. But when the last season, which was all-star season 40, has 8 million viewers, and you get all the way down to 3 million viewers in one season, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Hopefully this next season gets them back, because I'm starting to get a little scared that 42 might be our last season of Survivor ever.
Well,
I'm
we'll see.
worried.
And there's more places where people watch Survivor now. Anyways, maybe people are watching it recordings. Maybe people are watching it on Paramount Plus as well. So
Possibility.
So I don't think
it's not a very expensive show to make.
You can't just go off one little people watching it live. So
I don't know, man.
And also, let's be honest with you, Survivor's an older person's show, but people watching Survivor are dying out.
Oh my gosh. Well, like you were making fun of that one show, that's CBS's demo market is old white people. So
all right. So before we end this episode, it's time for me to reveal my rankings of Survivor 41. And so I ranked Survivor 41 at number 17 out of 41 seasons. So I have it ranked in between Survivor Cook Islands and right after Survivor Marquesas. So out of the 41 seasons, I'm ranking 41 at number 17.
So about middle of the road.
Yes.
A little less than middle of the road. Well,
it's a little better in middle of the road. So like I had it better than like those top 10 seasons are really good Survivor seasons. And then you get to the next 10. They're pretty good seasons. There's some things wrong with them, but they're still pretty decent seasons. And I think that's where Survivor 41 lands. I think it was an enjoyable season.
What is your worst season of Survivor ever?
Thailand. I can tell you my rankings right now if you want.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know if you need to do that. Maybe do our top 10.
Well, I mean, so like I said, yeah, Thailand's my worst season. Survivor, falling right after is One World. So
I can't even remember them based off of the name of them. For the most part, I can remember the All Stars and like the Russell Hansons, but
and like I said, last year during the Survivor, when we had no Survivor, I had not watched. I had basically said I'm gonna rewatch all the Survivor seasons, and this way I can and then do my rankings of it. And so as I was doing each season, I would rank the where I like the season. So I would have like Borneo at 1. Then as I watch the next season, I go Australia. Okay, did I like Australia better? And then I would just keep going as the show went along. And then when I got done with it, I was like, okay, is this where I still stand true on the season Survivor? Yes.
wasn't there a couple
So
seasons you didn't ever finish, if I remember correctly, like the one where
now the only season I had never really finished was Survivor San Juan del Sur, which I went back and watched, and the end game made the season better, but I still rank it that season at like 24 out of 41.
about One World
30,
that
40.
a 40th.
Yeah, 40.
That's not surprising. I remember you hated that season.
Yeah, it's not a good season. Like
Yeah, I
the
remember.
women taking out the guys. There's really no good characters. You had the one little moment of Troy saying, "Go, this is my island. You can't beat me." And
Yeah,
then when
they
he
did.
fist punched Brent Rose, like, yeah. And then like it looks like just like this guy's lost it. Yeah, that season's awful. And Thailand's the worst season just because it was boring. The guy wins is really a bad human being, and all that basically all that the whole cast was like the only person that I even liked in that season was probably Xian. And yeah, that season of Survivor is barely watchable.
Well, this was fun. Now we got to do an actual Survivor draft for 42
Well, we'll think about it. So if I feel like it.
live
So
on Randy Cage or Easy Cage Show.
yeah, I don't know about that. So, all right, guys, that is episode 161 of the Easy K Show. We talked way longer than I thought we would talk about, but we have a few rants for Randy Cage over here. So, it's always fun watching you get angry about stuff. It doesn't happen very often. So, guys, make sure you check out Randy Cage's Letterboxd. You can, he just posted a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. You can check out my YouTube channel this week. I'll have reviews Spider-Man No Way Home, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story, The Power of the Dog, and also the Survivor season. I'll have a quick and easy review for you for people that want to watch an hour-long episode of the ECK Show. And guys, make sure you check us out here every Sunday. But this week, we'll be doing a special episode on Wednesday. We'll be doing a review of the first season of Hawkeye. We'll be talking all about the Hawkeye season as we get done. We're doing the episode early because next Sunday, me and Randy Cage are going off to do our epic Nashville movie trip, where we'll see some indie films and finish off the year off strong with in order to do our top 10 movies. So we won't be doing an episode Sunday, but we're going to do it a little early so we can do Christmas stuff and spend time with families. So that's why we're doing it a little earlier than what we would usually do. So this week we'll be doing it on Wednesday. So Easy Cage fans, until this Wednesday, all through